Hey guys, David here. Welcome to Digital Outlook, where you're going to find the best community in all of crypto. In today's video, Gary Gensler gets schooled by Stuart Alderoty. So guys, without further ado, why don't we get to it? So guys, I think there's something that we can all agree on in this space, and that is we are sick to death of this SEC regulation by enforcement, which is supposed to be out there to protect the retail investor. I mean, that in and of itself has got to be the biggest joke there is. Now look, I've got a little clip here I want to play of Stuart Alderoty until we get really into it, and just take a listen to what he says here about when the SEC dropped their lawsuit on Ripple and who it really hurt. I think it's only about a minute and a half long, and then we'll be right back.
And what really is happening here in the US, because we have such regulatory uncertainty and outright regulatory hostility through what we call regulation by enforcement, compared to sophisticated economic centers like Singapore, like London, like Dubai. What we're doing here in the US, and I think principally through the SEC as an institution, is we're elevating politics and power over sound policy. And in doing that, you're not only hurting innovation and innovators and entrepreneurs like Ripple, and I won't name others, but there's others under attack and, in the space in the US, but ultimately you're hurting the retail holder of this asset. 1 in 5 Americans have either hold, own, or have interacted with crypto. And that uncertainty ultimately hurts them. So when you hear the chair of the SEC saying, I'm doing this all in the name of consumer protection, actually, it's the very opposite. It's the consumer that's getting hurt. The day the SEC sued Ripple, the digital asset that we rely upon to effectuate the cross-border transactions, XRP, was delisted or suspended from trading from nearly every US platform in the US, and $15 billion in market cap volume was erased. Did Ripple get hurt? Our business moved offshore. Who got hurt? The men and women who owned XRP in the US, who've been locked out of their accounts and can't access XRP in the US.
So guys, in that clip there, we just heard Stuart Alderoty highlight the fact that, hey, the SEC is out there hurting the retail investor, and big time. Remember guys, the SEC is supposed to be out there protecting us, the retail investor, from all these potential fraudulent things that can go on, and all the rug pulls and everything like that, and investigating those and bringing those to light. But no, what do? Guys, they actually went out there against a legit company that was in there working hand in glove with them, meeting with them on a regular basis and explaining their whole business model and everything that was going on. It was all above board. And what did they do? They entertained them for almost 8 years, and then bang, slap a lawsuit on them as they're walking out the door, when Jay Clayton and Bill Hinman were walking out the door. And what else happened, guys? Well, they gave Ethereum an absolute free pass, picking winners and losers. And that's what the whole Hinman emails are about with respect to this case, because the transparency is just not there. And the other thing that I thought was really interesting to hear Stuart Alderoty highlight was the fact that we're actually just creating a power mechanism, and primarily through the SEC. Guys, the SEC does not have the ability to create laws and then enforce them. Congress creates laws. Congress are the ones that go out there and debate this space and actually get the info from their constituents and come back and put bills before, the House and have them approved and what. It is not the SEC. These are bodies that are put in place to enforce laws that we, the people, are actually standing behind and getting our representatives to put forward out there. Let's remember, these congressional members are actually elected to represent us. Now, the way in which Gary Gensler has been actually insulating himself, you would think he was the actual czar of all this, and he's going to tell us, the people, and instead of it being a government for the people and by the people, it's no, we're going to tell you how it's going to be. Well, that is not the way the United States was actually founded, and that isn't the way that this democracy works. It is a we the people, and this is where we need to actually stand up and get our voices out there and have them heard so that this kind of tyranny absolutely stops. And guys, that is exactly what it is. This is not out there to protect the rank and file retail investor. We know who is protecting. Guys, it's protecting all of these big boys there up on Wall Street that Gary Gensler has been actually smoozing. In fact, when you think about it, it's absolutely obscene that, look, an FTX situation could go right under his nose. And it's, I didn't know what was happening. Are you kidding me? You've got an entire team of investigators there providing you reports practically on a daily, if not weekly basis. And then you've got, Sam Bankman-Fried himself coming in and meeting with Gary over and over and over again, and along with all these other politicians. Don't tell me that they didn't smell something going on in the henhouse, but they let it happen, guys. Why? Don't let a good crisis go to waste. They could see this balloon was building. Now, was that protecting you and I as retail investors? Absolutely not. What was it doing, guys? It was insulating their position, so when it finally did explode, they'd have a mandate to go out and do what they're doing with all this regulation by enforcement. And that's what's truly going on. Now, guys, Gary Gensler has been called out by Stuart Alderoty in a big way. And here's the article right here. And in this article, it's talking about XRP lawsuit, Ripple's lawyer on why SEC Gensler must recuse himself from voting on enforcement cases. So, guys, how it works in the SEC, all the main chairs get together, they talk about all the cases, and then they vote on which ones they're going to truly pursue. And what Stuart Alderoty is saying here is, hey, Gensler, you've been out there, you've been too vocal in this space, and you're at a position now where you're totally compromised. We can't trust that you're using fair and balanced judgment, and you need to recuse yourself. So just take a listen. Stuart Alderoty, Ripple's chief legal officer, has said that Gary Gensler needs to recuse himself from future decision-making exercises touching on the classification of cryptocurrencies. Today, the lawyer suggested that Gensler's future decisions were likely to be biased, referencing a recent interview in which the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission chair said that every crypto asset except Bitcoin was a security. Chair Gensler has again proclaimed that every cryptocurrency except Bitcoin is an unregistered security. He must now recuse himself from voting on any enforcement case that raises that issue, since he has prejudged the outcome, tweeted Stuart. In a wide-ranging February 23rd New York Magazine interview discussing the crypto sector, Gensler indirectly claimed that all other cryptos were security because there's a group in the middle and the public is anticipating profits based on that group, which, according to him, was not the case with Bitcoin. I mean, come on, guys. Are you telling me that people that are buying into Michael Saylor, buying into Bitcoin, is not expecting it to actually see some profit? What a load of hooey. And furthermore, that in and of itself does not make a commodity a security. People buy gold, people buy silver, what? To hedge against inflation, hoping that it will increase in value and protect their purchasing power. Isn't there an expectation of some level of profit there? Well, of course there is. Are gold and silver securities? No, guys, they're not. Now look at this. As such, his words were taken to suggest that all crypto assets apart from Bitcoin fell under the remit of the SEC. This is just a plain old power grab. Let's just call it what it is. Attracting widespread criticism from the crypto community. Well, no small wonder there. Jake Stravinsky, a lawyer and policy lead at the Blockchain Association, argued in a tweet that Gensler may have prejudged that every digital asset aside from Bitcoin is a security, and thus the SEC lacked the authority to regulate all cryptocurrencies until the SEC proves its case in court. The lawyer further noted that Gensler's opinion is not the law. despite the commissioner's asserted authority over the cryptocurrency industry. Guys, that's the whole point. Gensler doesn't get to tell us what the law is. He does not. In fact, the laws in this country are actually written and voted on by the members of Congress and then are ratified by the executive. Look, Gensler has to follow the law, not dictate it. And the way in which he's going about this, guys, is absolutely some dictatorial view. And as Stuart Alderoty said there, it is an attitude of hostility against this space. Meanwhile, as the years-long lawsuit against Ripple inches closer to an end, the community continues to wait for the court to decide whether XRP is a security. Notably, while the overall outcome of the case remains a matter of speculation, several court rulings on issues with nearly similar facts have been guiding as to what could happen. One case was when the SEC sued blockchain-based sharing platform LBRY in March of 2021 for offering its LBC tokens without registering them with the agency. However, a Court of Appeal judge recently ruled that LBC tokens are only considered securities when sold in the primary sale. For many, Ripple is likely to get a favorable ruling should it convince the court it never formally held an ICO, which we know it did not, similar to the LBRY situation. A win by Ripple could see XRP relisted on crypto exchanges such as Coinbase and Binance US, boosting this coin's price considerably. And many people have come out there and said, hey, look, when you saw that whole secondary market decision with respect to the LBRY tokens, what did you see, guys? You saw 155% move in one day. Well, XRP has way more people out there behind it and a much larger ecosystem. And we get any kind of a ruling like that, I'm telling you what, XRP could hit its previous all-time high, and some have even called saying it could potentially hit $10. The bottom line is this, guys. What you're seeing when you're taking a look at a case like this and you're watching the SEC go out there and do regulation by enforcement, you're seeing an abuse of power going on. And let's remember something. When Gary Gensler was actually taking this position, there was a lot of actual hope that he was going to be something good for the space. Why? Well, the guy was out there teaching distributed ledger technology over at MIT and seemed to understand the space fairly well. And at that time, he came across to be really evenly balanced. Well, it's amazing how much the guy forgot when he finally got into the SEC chair space. It seems like he doesn't even know what fits the bill. And in fact, when you try to corner him and ask him, well, okay, well, is Ethereum a security? Nothing. Crickets. And then they'll come out and say, oh, by the way, if you'll just come in and actually talk with us and we'll show you how to register, when there's absolutely no mechanism whatsoever to register at all. Guys, it's a dog and pony show. That's what we're seeing here. And it looks like it's just set up to protect the institutions that are already in play, the powers that be, the folks on Wall Street. It has absolutely nothing, in my opinion, to do with protecting retail investors. In fact, the actions the SEC has taken thus far have done nothing but hurt retail investors. So guys, let's pray we get a positive decision out of Judge Torres and we actually see things come down. Those Hinman emails, number one, get released. Number two, we see that Ripple actually is, or at least with XRP as a secondary, at least this much, that those are not designated as securities. But the Ripple actually gets proven right. There was no ICO. And in fact, guys, there was no investment contract whatsoever, and there are no prongs of the Howey test being met. And this whole case should have never taken place in the first place. But needless to say, guys, this is where we're at, and we're just fighting the good fight until we actually get the victory that we're all looking for. And I'll tell you what, guys, when it comes, we are going to get, it is going to be well deserved, and we're all going to be celebrating, and I can't wait to be celebrating right there along with you. So guys, let's just take a few seconds to talk about our coaching program for those who don't know. Having lived through a bull run, I can tell you with certainty that you're definitely going to want to have your plan in place. And what our coaching program is, that is where you and I can meet one-on-one for 1 hour over Zoom. And during that time, I share with you our personal experience in that last bull run and what enabled Judy and I to see some amazing gains. I share with you the mistakes we made so that you don't have to fall into the same pitfalls we did. We take a look at your portfolio and make sure that it's balanced towards your goals. We also work together to help you develop your exit strategy. On top of that, we can help you get your assets off an exchange and onto a hardware wallet, along with delivering to you some amazing techniques that will really help you in this space. Now, the cost of that is $250, and if that's something that interests you, you write me right there at coaching@thedigitaloutlook.com and we'll get you all booked in. So guys, this is the video I have for you today, and I truly hope that you enjoyed it. Now, I want to invite you to join the conversation and drop your comments right down there in the comments section. Open it up to the community and start a discussion. Now, many of you know I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice, but if you found value in it, if you'd hit that like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. And hey, don't forget about hitting that notification bell down there, because as you know, in this space, things change lickety-split, and I like to get that information out to you as soon as possible. And on top of that, I don't want you missing out on any of our regularly released videos. Now, if you're one of the thousands of people who have been watching these videos, but you haven't yet subscribed, would you do the channel a favor and join this community? We'd really love to have you on board. So, in the meantime, and in between time, stay safe, be blessed, and I'll catch you in the next one.